Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? This is Enrique Sanchez, and you're tuning in to Zero Zime Regime Radio. I'm right here with my friend Mina Marcos.
Hey,
how's it going?
I'm doing good.
And I'm here to give a brief interview on my experience with the Museum of Tolerance. Today was actually the first time that I actually go to the Museum of Tolerance. I know that it's one of the most well-known museums in the world. A lot of people from different countries even go there to hear speeches.
We had a bus full.
Yes, it was a lot of people. So today it was interesting because they had a Holocaust survivor by the name of Mr. William Harvey. He was originally from Czechoslovakia, which is now modern-day the Czech Republic and the Republic of Slovakia. He's 95 years old, and he was giving his life story, and it was very uplifting how he went through what he went through and practically lost all of his family, and he was almost left for dead himself. Like, he was explaining during his speech that he had almost frozen to death, and he was going to be taken to the crematorium to be cremated.
With 73 pounds.
With 73 pounds, age 21. But luckily, there was some prisoners that found that he was alive, and they took him out of there. And then after the war, he was able to immigrate to America, and he was able to start over, get married, have a family. He was able to have a lot of success. But the thing that really touched me the most is that he has no hatred or avarice towards his former oppressors.
Mm-hmm.
And the message that he gave was that hate is baggage, and what it does, it consumes you. You don't live. All you do is exist.
Yeah.
And he was saying, what am I going to get behind these people? It's just going to consume me and kill me. So I had the pleasure to read a letter that was sent to him by a correctional facility that he was invited to speak at, and it was my first time actually meeting a Holocaust survivor in person.
Was it?
Yes. I've only seen them like in documentaries and in person, but I've never met anyone like in person.
It must have been really cool for you then.
It was definitely a great honor, and especially a great honor to be asked to read for him a letter that was written to him.
Hey, all fairness, I told you to go. I'm the one who volunteered.
Yes, I'm glad that you pushed me. And I got to meet him. We took pictures, and then before we left, we got to take a little tour of the museum, and it was very insightful. It was very groundbreaking and eye-opening what happens in there.
It's nice. I've been there since 1998. My first time going there was a school trip in 1998, and I've been there a couple of times in the 2000s. Since 2014, I decided to actually join the museum to be a member. I've been a member of the Holocaust Museum since 2014, so 5 years now. So it was nice meeting a Holocaust survivor. You know, I meet them very so often. But yeah, every Holocaust survivor is different. But they do have the same messages. Hatred is baggage. So there's no reason to hate anybody and anything. So there's no reason to hate Trump. So there's no reason to hate Obama. So there's no reason to hate the Democrats or Republicans. You know, we're all Americans at the end of the day. At the end of the day, we have one goal, is to work hard and feed our families. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think it's very important that when it comes down to it, when it comes to persecution and people being affected by hatred knows no discrimination.
Of course.
It affects everybody. White, black, brown, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, Americans, foreigners. It's just something that we need to learn, and I think what's missing in our society today is tolerance.
Tolerance. You have to also keep in mind, a lot of times in life, your worst enemies become your best friends.
Oh, I know.
Your best friends become your worst enemies.
That's very true.
Huh?
I like it. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's no reason to hate anybody. You know, if somebody trespasses against you 5 years later, he might be your best friend, getting you out of trouble. If somebody's your friend today, 5 years later, he might be screwing you over.
Oh, I know.
It's how life goes.
I could definitely tell you from personal experience, people that I knew for years, that they became my worst enemies, and people that I barely even know, they became my best friends.
Yes.
So it's always important not to discriminate and hate other people. You know, it doesn't mean that we have to condone what people do, but we have to learn to tolerate,
Of course.
because the same way you tolerate, you want people to tolerate you. The same way you respect people, you want people to respect you. You can't expect or demand respect when you don't respect others.
Of course.
If you respect others, people respect you. If you don't respect others, people won't respect you. If you tolerate people, they will tolerate you. If you don't tolerate people, they won't tolerate you, and vice versa.
And the unique thing about the Holocaust survivor today, he was born in 1924. He's 95 years old. You know, we had the honor to meet him. You know, a couple of years from now, we might not have any Holocaust survivors. So to actually meet a Holocaust survivor, shake his hand, something to tell our grandkids
Exactly.
about.
Yeah, unfortunately, the population of Holocaust survivors is getting smaller because a lot of them are in their 90s and some of them are pushing in their hundreds. So it's best, you know, whenever we have an opportunity to meet people like this, to get a hold of them and try to meet them and hear their speeches, because you never know when they'll be here. Once they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah, once they're gone, they're gone. Hey, once anybody's gone, it's gone. You know, everything has to end sometime.
Exactly.
Everything, and no, the political situation we're going through now, it's not going to be forever. Donald Trump will not be our president forever. It's just not. So let's say worst case scenario, he gets elected again. You know, hold your breath, go with the motions. You know, stay out of trouble, because no matter who the politician is, nobody can touch you if you're a good person.
Exactly.
And you stay out of trouble.
As long as you follow the law and abide by the rules, you'll be fine.
People ask me, "Oh, you're Egyptian. Aren't you scared of Donald Trump?" I'm not scared of Donald Trump. I'm not scared of Mike Pence. I'm not scared of Joe Biden. I'm not scared of the big bad wolf. I ain't scared of nobody. I ain't scared of nobody but God and God alone. The Holocaust survivor, I mean, seriously, he survived the Holocaust. He stayed positive. He worked hard. He continued to stay positive after the Holocaust. He continues to be positive of the Holocaust. Choose not to hate. Choose to love over hate. And I mean real love. No, real love is loving everybody unconditionally, and regardless of what their political opinion is. You know, you can't.
Or what they are.
What they are. And man, he has two beautiful daughters now, both successful, beautiful grandkids. He overcame everything. He overcame the odds of not just dying, and then, you know, the odds of being lonely and, you know, and depressed, just through love. And that's the message.
And another thing I also wanted to add, that I think this is something that should be emphasized more often, that we should have these types of people that have gone through genocides, ethnic cleansing, so that way it'll give people empathy, because what's lacking today is empathy.
You know what? I think you made a good point. I think we should have maybe a civil rights museum.
I agree with you.
Talk about civil rights, people who survived, lived through like the 40s and 50s and were discriminated against.
People that went through Jim Crow, redlining.
What's redlining?
Redlining was in the American Southwest and in Texas, where Mexican Americans, they were segregated and barred from in certain places. It was similar to how African Americans were segregated under Jim Crow, but it was called redlining.
And what's going on today with our policies, with the kids being trapped in cages? You know, maybe we should go and help out these kids, send some food, you know, help out our DECA, the children, the defense. Well, what is it, the DECA? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, DACA. That has to do with immigration. I don't know what it stands for, but it's an acronym.
The Dreamers.
The Dreamers,
I feel like if you're a 13-year-old and you were brought here to this country and you're working and you're contributing good things, you should not be sent back. You know, give them a break. However, you know, we take out the bad people. Like if you're here, you're smoking weed, you're not working,
or you're a gang member dealing drugs,
definitely have to go back.
Right.
Well, maybe not go back, because I don't think the country's. But yeah, you know, more tolerance, more acceptance. Let's not discriminate against people. If you're Jewish, be Jewish. If you're Christian, be Christian. If you're gay, be gay. But don't, you know, walk on people's toes. You know. Just be yourself, speak your truth, and just enjoy life. And life is always good. Life is good.
And I have one more thing to add, is that I wanted to say that I had a very memorial experience at the museum. I got to see a lot of exhibitions that I didn't even know existed. It was very amazing, and I'm glad I had the honor to come today, and it was an honor to meet you. This is the first time I'm meeting you.
Oh, thank you.
Because we keep in contact primarily through Facebook.
On Postmates.
On Postmates, exactly.
Yeah, the guy said something very funny. In the 1950s, he was working. His tip was bigger than his tip was bigger than his
salary.
wage, which is sad. That's intolerance.
That's true.
Postmates is modern day slavery. Yo, stay away.
That's true. I recommend is if anyone's gonna do Postmates, do it like on a temporary basis, or if you need extra cash, but not on a long-term basis, because you will have a long burnout. Believe me, it's happened to me.
The best thing about Postmates, it does bring people together in a good sense. People become friends. Do you think anybody hooked up on Facebook? No, you think people get married through Postmates websites?
You never know. I would like to see a testimony.
Yeah, it's just too bad everybody's bickering with each other, deceiving each other. So say you don't go to the areas where there's good tips, but it's another story.
Perfect.
That's another story.
But again, it was a real pleasure that I was able to come on here, and you invited me. I really appreciate you inviting me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I thought it would be cool for you, like a Jewish man, to see like a part of your history, even though it wasn't the best part, but it's still there in the history. You got to meet like a real life Holocaust. So you never got to see a real life Holocaust movie?
Not in person. No.
Why not? What happened?
I just never had the opportunity.
So you're a school teacher now. Let me tell you, are you planning on doing some field trips?
I'm thinking about it. It depends on what my school tells me.
Yeah, I think your school should allow you to do a field trip. Maybe do you teach a world history class or U.S. history?
It's both.
So if you teach a world history and you're studying about the Holocaust, or U.S. history studying about the Holocaust, you should definitely bring them here.
Sure, definitely. I'm gonna see what the school says.
It brings everything to life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. See, the history books it shows you injustice, like doesn't show you justice compared to the real thing.
Exactly. But again, for me, it was like a great mitzvah to actually meet a Holocaust survivor and to experience the pain that he went through.
All right. So for all of you that never checked out the Holocaust Museum before, or the Museum of Tolerance, you should definitely go to the Museum of Tolerance. I recommend that you go there on a Friday. I mean, it's open every single day. Every single day, so it's like a new activity. So go check it out. You definitely have to see the Holocaust survivor if anything. So also have the Anne Frank exhibition and the general museum itself. So definitely it's a must-see, especially if you're living in West Los Angeles. It's only $15 to get in, but $30 if you see the museum, to see everything, the Anne Frank and the museum itself.
Oh, okay.
And then the Holocaust, to see a Holocaust survivor, that's with any admission.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
Perfect.
So come out and support your local nonprofit.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Mina. It was a pleasure. Thank you for your interview. Your comments definitely appreciate it. And this is Zero Sign Regime Radio. If you want to hear the rest of the podcast, feel free to go to my YouTube channel, and I'm also available to social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Have yourself a good day, and God bless you.
Thank you.